Definitely Trump.
Okay. And real question, right? Like, what point did Matt beat Adam on?
I actually didn't watch the entire video, but I saw a clip, and he said like I think he was trying to compare January 6th to like the worst thing that happened in the world. So definitely disagree with that.
I didn't say it was the worst thing that ever happened in the world. The topic was political violence, and I said January 6th is the most threatening act of political violence in modern
Oh
American
yeah,
history because it was an attempted coup to change the results of an election,
oh
which is
yeah.
true.
That was an unhinged take though.
And that entire segment was me educating Matt on what actually happened on January 6th, which he was unaware of.
But yeah, I just don't think that January 6th you could say is like the worst thing that happened in American history. I just think that's
I said
ridiculous.
modern American history in terms of political violence that was the biggest threat to America, which is true.
I think that
I specifically
the
said in the
left,
last couple of decades when I was talking to Matt. So
yeah, I think the left has far and away committed more political
when
violence.
did the left attempt to coup the government?
I think the left has many times enacted political violence in this country. So I think that like one instance is like a drop in the bucket.
A Tesla catching on fire versus an attempted coup of the U.S. government, I don't hold those in the same regard. So when has the
You know,
left ever tried to
Tesla's setting on
coup
fire, rioting. You
the
know,
U.S. government?
like
Yeah,
blowing
one
things
thing I
up.
wanted to
Like I think
bring up
that's
is that these
far.
weren't qualified into that particular overlook and study because they're nonviolent, right? Those Tesla attacks did not lead to like lethality,
Non-violent.
It's
and
Yeah,
Van.
so firebombing somebody's Tesla
or
is
not. I didn't mean
non-violent.
to say nonviolent. I meant to say non-lethal. That's what I meant to say.
Not okay. That's hilarious. So okay,
That's true. They
so
looked at
non-lethal.
lethal violence. That's particular analysis that they were
So like if
having
you
a
destroy
conversation
somebody's
about.
property, you just don't consider that in your mind. That's not in your moral code to consider like doing that or like I
No,
saw like
it's
they were
violence.
like
I didn't mean to say that it was nonviolent. I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say that it was non-lethal.
I mean, but when your data sets are admitting that, I mean, I can't really take your data seriously if you're just saying, oh,
Do you think counting a
that,
handful of Tesla bombings would have changed the massive discrepancy between right wing and left wing violence that's shown in like virtually every single study on this? Whether it's the Cato study, the CSIS study, even Trump's own DHS in his first term said that there's a real risk of right wing political violence in this country.
I like how like every single left-wing argument is like, well, what did this guy say? Because like
No,
I've
no, no.
seen
What
many
did this
debunking
study
points.
say? What did these officials with expertise say?
I've seen so much manipulation in these data sets. I mean, I don't think I can really just take your word at face value. I'm sorry.
Okay, so what manipulation have you seen in data sets?
I've seen prison gang violence be counted as quote unquote right-wing violence. I've seen Islamists be counted as
Wait. In what
right-wing
study?
violence. I believe it was the Cato study, wasn't it?
No, the Cato study did not do that. What are you talking about?
Once again, I don't necessarily have all these at the top of my head, but I do
So
remember
why are
like
you
in
picking
like
issue
most
with the methodology of studies if you don't even know which study you're trying to critique right now?
so I'm supposed to know
No,
each and every
you're not supposed.
study off
If
the top
you're
of my head.
making a point, then yes, you are supposed to know. If you didn't
Well,
make that point, I wouldn't ask you that
I'm just
question.
reference okay, I'm just referencing what I've seen from data sets. It's not like I know each and every single institution and what they're
What I'm
counting.
saying to you is you can nitpick any methodological error with any study, but when multiple studies from multiple different groups all show the exact same outcome, despite having different methodological issues, like the CSIS issues are going to be different than the Cato issues, et cetera, and you're assuming that every issue undercounts right wing violence, I'm sure there's also examples of them undercounting left wing violence as well, like on both sides, right? When you have multiple studies, multiple administrations, including Republican administrations, that all say the primary source of political violence in this country up until 2025 was the right wing. You can't just deny that because you don't like it.
Well, I can deny it because I've seen the methodology
Well,
be,
sure, you can deny it, but you'd
flawed.
be wrong to deny it then. I'll clarify.
I know, but you're just kind of source dumping right now.
I'm referencing studies, I'm referencing specific examples.
I get that, and once again, I'm referencing manipulation that I've personally seen. So, like, can you just agree that this is like
Well,
kind of a
you
flawed?
haven't personally seen manipulation of data.
I
You
haven't.
probably saw
You
political
just claimed
commentators
that
say
you
that.
saw manipulation. That wasn't just like we asked you for like a specific where you saw
Oh yeah,
manipulation.
like
You
I've
couldn't
I've
bring it up.
seen specifically in these studies, like the George Floyd riots, like things such as like racial riots not be counted. So
What? I mean, again, those would be counted under left wing violence if there were specifically violence involved, like the particular
that in
cases of
an ideal
violence.
world, that would be the case. But once again, like
No,
I'm just attesting to what
I
I've
don't know
seen.
what specific one you're referencing that this wasn't taken into account.
The Cato Institute, the ADL,
The Cato Institute and
Okay.
the ADL did not say that.
Also, if you don't trust them, what about Trump's own Department of Homeland Security?
his own Department of Homeland Security. How are
Yes,
you
in his
referring to?
first term, said that right wing violence, especially white nationalist violence, represents the greatest threat in terms of political violence.
I mean, I'm sure that's his opinion, but
No, no, no. That's not an opinion. That's an expert.
that is his opinion. You said
The
he said that right
the
that white
opinion
white
based
nationalists
on
lie.
what? It's not just an opinion if it's based on actual
It doesn't
evidence.
matter what it's based on. It's an opinion.
It doesn't matter what it's based on.
Yes, it doesn't matter what it's based on. If he's
Okay, I think,
dropping an opinionated
call
statement,
me crazy. I think if something's based on evidence, it ought to be taken seriously. Maybe you
I
disagree.
mean,
That's fine.
like what is everything's based on evidence? Is the evidence correct? No.
Not everything's based on evidence. None of Trump's claims recently have been based on evidence. The claim that the left is more violent than the right is not based on evidence. See the difference?
Okay, but that's both of it's opinionated. Though.
And one
You're
opinion is
not
based
missing.
on evidence and one isn't, and you don't see the distinction there, which explains a lot about your
Okay,
argument.
but once again, that's just your opinion, is it not?
So true.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so ridiculous point. So
But that's
that's
just your
just the whole
opinion, though.
thing.
That's a ridiculous point. That's your opinion.
But we're just giving each other opinions. So like,
No, but
oh,
that's your
white
opinion that we're
nationalists
giving
violent.
each other opinions, though.
Yeah, I know. I'm not the one trying to
No, but
moralize.
no, that's your opinion. You don't know. You don't know. It's your opinion.
Yeah, but I'm not the one trying to moralize and trying to act like
Well,
opinions
it's
are
your
like
opinion that you're not trying to
legal.
moralize. I think you are trying to moralize. That's my opinion.
I'm not trying to. I don't care. I just care about the facts. So
No, but that's your opinion that you don't care.
sure.
See how annoying that is?
I mean, but it's the game that you're
Okay,
playing. I mean,
thanks.
it's what you're bringing up first. So I mean, yeah. I mean, but you
And
got body.
you
So
still never answered the initial topic you brought up. What aspect, what example of left-wing violence in the last 2 decades was more of a threat to America than January 6th? We have yet to hear an example. I'll save you the trouble. There isn't one.
well, I mean, like after the Roe v. Wade situation, like we saw like Lucy Kavanaugh get attacked. We've seen like
I said
people trying
something
to
that
storm
represented a
the
greater threat than January 6th.
Well, I thought you meant like left wing violence examples.
Yes, left-wing violence that represented a greater threat than January 6th to America. Was there another
Well, if it's
attempted coup I
happening,
didn't hear of?
so hold on. So it has to be by the specific criteria of quote unquote attempted coup, or else the
No,
left
no,
wing
no, no,
violence.
not. Maybe someone tried to blow up the entire United States and succeeded. I mean, I'm here, so I'm going to assume that didn't happen. But just any example of political violence from the left that was more serious than January 6th in the last 2 decades.
More serious, like just one example. Well, it has to be one example. I can't count multiple.
Dude, you can do whatever you want. Just give me something here.
But I would just say like the multiple instances of left wing violence, I would categorize as more important and more of a threat to this country than just the one instance of January 6th.
Okay, what's one of those?
Well, like I said off the top of my head, I would do the riots in the summer of 2020. I would do the riots right
Okay,
now. I
let's
would do
compare those. Let's compare those. On the 2020 debate stage, Joe Biden said a million times that he disavows all violence and that the protests should be peaceful, as the vast, vast majority of them were peaceful. To the extent that people looted, you're assuming that they looted for political reasons. What about people that just wanted to loot, took advantage of the protest to loot, and they weren't actually ideologically doing that? Versus look at Trump. Trump didn't condemn January 6th. He pardoned the perpetrators, and as it was happening, he was happy about it.
Okay, see, this is the problem that I have with liberals. Like you like to bring up this like really like niche point about, oh well, a Democrat is about this, but if Democrats are constantly
How
like
is it a
overstating
niche
stuff,
point?
it's a niche point because it's irrelevant. Of
The
course they're going to say
political
that.
leader of the
Of course
side
they're
you're
going to say.
accusing of violence,
Of course
disavowing
they're
the
going to put a
violence
P.
is a
Oh, he put
random
a
point.
PR statement out. He put a PR statement out. So therefore, I must say that the left is fine because
No,
Joe
no, no,
Biden
no.
put out
Just
a
so we're
PR statement.
clear, Biden condemned violence at protests. Trump never condemned January 6th. Is that just a
Biden
random argument?
Biden pardoned in Portland like multiple rioters who attacked Capitol buildings, and they were leftist Antifa members,
Such
I
as?
believe. So
Okay,
what?
give us examples of
Give us
this.
examples, because like there was no
I
one
believe
that
they were
committing
protesting
violence.
ICE right
There
after
was no
Biden got elected.
there was no person that was committing violence that Biden particularly pardoned.
Right after he was elected, there were protests in Portland, right, about ICE, and
If it was a protest,
the
then
the
yes,
protests were
he would have pardoned people just protesting, but not
okay,
people
but they
committing
were they were
violence.
attacking federal buildings though.
By doing what?
What?
By doing what?
What do you mean by doing what?
How were they attacking the buildings?
I mean, I don't recall, but I remember they were putting up picket signs. They were like doing what they normally do, just attacking federal.
They were
Hold
putting
on.
up signs.
Wait 1 second.
At a
You guys
protest,
have
they put up signs.
not just put. I mean, like they literally attack federal agents. You can look the situation up, man.
By
Like
doing
I
what?
don't.
What do they do?
What they attack officers
But how do they
That's all-
attack them? With words?
with words. Look, once again, I don't recall the entire situation, but he pardoned them. They obviously they would have had to commit
Why
a
do you
crime,
keep
right?
bringing up situations that you don't recall as like your
Hold on,
key
hold
piece
on.
of evidence when you're debating us?
If they were
Maybe
if they were
bring up
arrested,
something you do recall if you're going to make an argument.
Okay, wait, hold on. But see this: if they were pardoned, would that not mean that they committed a crime?
Say it again.
If they were pardoned, would that not mean that they committed a crime?
By being pardoned, by definition, you committed a crime. If you're being
Yes.
pardoned of the crime.
So they were criminals. So Biden pardoned criminals, right? Who protested, who were Antifa.
Did
who were
we
protesting.
forget my initial point? Which is,
What is
can
the
you
point?
list something that is worse than January 6th from the left and still I've heard
I
nothing?
was okay. I was listing multiple points, and then you like,
Yeah, but okay,
No.
how are the BLM quote unquote riots, they were protests, how are those worse than January 6th?
how were those worse than January 6th? Well, people's property were being burned down. You know, American citizens were actually hurting.
Okay,
This
so
insanity.
let me ask you this. What is more of a threat to this country? Property damage or a coup?
Property damage, people being murdered, and probably
That's
probably
more serious than an attempted coup.
If it happens consistently from the left, I would say that that's more of a danger.
Okay. Okay. We have a fundamental disagreement. If you think the collapse of the American experiment and us becoming a failed state is less of a big deal than the BLM protest, you're free to make that argument.
You guys literally want to abolish ICE. You want to abolish the entire system we have. I mean,
ICE is doing domestic terror right now, so yeah.
it's doing domestic terror by
When ICE is specifically violating people's Fourth Amendment rights, right? I definitely think that's an issue. They're not identifying themselves. They're literally not utilizing warrants. They're stripping people out of their communities who have not committed violent crimes and bad crimes, that have been working in their communities for generations, in some circumstances for 20 plus years, in some circumstances, that have built entire lives and families here.
So I have a question. So what would be your solution to the millions of illegals that were imported in here like illegally?
So undocumented immigrants that are in the country that have not committed a violent crime or bad crime should be given a
I
pathway
really
to
don't
citizenship
care.
where they
I
don't
really
have to
don't.
leave the country.
Can you say that again?
Undocumented immigrants who have not committed a violent crime or bad crime should be given a pathway to citizenship where they do not have to leave the country.
Why should they be given a pathway to citizenship?
Because they do not harm this country by being given a pathway to citizenship. Our current legal process takes too long, so we want to incentivize people to go through said legal process, and we want to ensure that the most amount of people who are already in the country are vetted.
So millions of illegal immigrants should be just rewarded for immigrating illegally.
Why are you calling these people illegal immigrants? Just so we're clear, when you talk about the influx of people during Biden, like more than half of these were legal asylum seekers.
Yes.
I don't consider asylum seeking to be like you can call it
You
legal.
don't
They
consider
are
asylum
documented
seeking
in the
a
immigration
legal
court
process
system.
when it is.
Okay, but like this is it's basically like feeding the bear, right? Like you just hold out a bunch of food and then all the immigrants come over.
No, not true. If you come to the border and you claim asylum, you have to pass a credible fear interview, which only about half of them pass. And then even after that, you have to see an immigration judge, and they're only granted asylum 30% of the time. I did the math on this on my stream once. For every 100 people that show up to the border claiming asylum, at the end, only 19 get it.
But aren't they like let into like staying at like in a so-called sanctuary city?
What? No
Aren't
one
they
gets
asylum
let
seekers?
in. You have to pass a credible fear interview to even get in.
Yeah, but
Otherwise,
like
they turn you back.
did he not let people in to seek asylum?
Under the
Who
legal
passed
process,
the
yeah, we didn't have
interview,
enough
yeah.
judges to
So they were
adjudicate
let
their
in.
cases.
So they were let in.
Legally.
Legally?
Yes.
Okay, I guess that's where we fundamentally disagree, I guess.
You disagree
Okay,
with
so
the
but-
Immigration and Nationality Act?
Yeah, like,
What?
you disagree with us on a fact that it was legal.
I disagree with
say
allowing
you can say you think it shouldn't be legal. That's a fair point to make, which we would disagree with, of course. But the point that we're saying is that, like, you can't disagree with us on the facts. This makes no fucking sense.
disagree on what fact
It was legal.
technically legal, yes.
Okay, so then why are you saying illegal immigration?
I still don't see how this overall has anything to do with the entire point of like what would you do about the millions and millions of
I
illegal.
literally answered every single thing of what I would do. Do you want me to say again?
But you said a legal pathway to citizenship, right?
Yeah, for people who are in the country have not committed a violent crime or bad crime and are here undocumented.
And then I asked you why should they be given a pathway to citizenship?
Yeah, and I described. And did you hear my description?
I would love to hear it again.
I want the most people to be vetted as possibly we can. It's best for the economy because I want to increase the level of population. The current legal immigration process takes too long. So if it is the case that they went through said legal immigration process, if they have not committed a violent crime or bad crime, it's likely that they would have been allowed to stay anyway or to go through said legal process. So in efforts to make the legal process go quicker, for people who are already in the country undocumented and for people who are going through the legal process, that would be required.
Okay, so for you, everyone who's here right now, we should just say, ICE, just stop what you're doing. Just let everyone in.
Who has not committed a violent crime or bad crime. still deport people on the condition that they're going to be put in a prison in another country if they have committed a violent crime and bad crime.
All right, I disagree with that. But so then on to the next point. Would you agree with shutting off all immigration and all illegal immigration, or are you like, or what is your position on that?
Say that again.
Like, what is your position on then like further immigration enforcement after that?
Okay, if we get to a point that we have a quick legal immigration process, that means everyone who would be going through the process undocumented would not qualify to the set of criteria that I've mentioned, meaning that they would specifically be someone who has committed a violent crime or bad crime or has that type of criminal history, meaning that we would deport them.
Okay, I just fundamentally like this is why I just disagree with you guys' immigration policy because you want to admit people just willy nilly, right? Like I just
Well, right now we're also just talking about following the law, like law and order, right? That's ICE is not doing that right now.
just letting millions of illegal immigrants
Also,
in.
I have a question. So, if someone is trying to legally immigrate to the country and they were held civilly liable of sexual abuse, would you let them legally enter the country?
If they were what?
Yeah, if you were able to determine whether or not someone legally gets in the country, and every other way that they were trying to get into the country, they were allowed to get in, and there's only one characteristic that you have to look over in order to determine whether or not they should be allowed in the country. They were held civilly liable of sexual abuse of a woman, forcefully penetrating her vagina against her will. Given that that's the case, would you let them legally enter the country?
I sense this is a very loaded question, but probably not.
You wouldn't?
Well, what country were they from?
Does it matter what country they're coming from?
Yes.
Really? Tell me. What country could they come from where you'd let them come into the country?
Probably a non-third world country.
Okay, so like if they were held civilly liable of sexual abuse in, say, for example, Germany, you would let someone immigrate to this country from Germany if they were held civilly liable of sexual abuse.
Well, why does it matter what I would do though? What about the law?
Okay,
You
I'm
don't give a
asking
fuck
you
about
what
the
you
law.
think the law should be.
I mean, but you're asking me about what I think, right? Like, obviously, I think that I would.
Really? Yeah, I'm asking a person debating what they think. Really, dude? No, wow.
I would have to see the case, but I don't think it's a matter of think. I think it's a matter of law, and depending on what the law
I'm
says, I would
asking
go
what
back.
you think the law should be, dude.
What I think the law should be, like as if I'm like the president or something.
Yeah, like if you were the president, dictator of the country,
Well, yeah, if I was the president, I wouldn't let anybody in. So,
you would do no immigration.
well, I would do selective immigration. Actually, my bad. Right, I would do selective.
Okay,
but like
so
that,
would you let someone held civilly liable of sexual abuse enter the country legally?
well, I would have to see the case, like I said before, right? Because we know a lot of lying happens.
So you would let some people held civilly liable of sexual abuse legally enter the country?
Yeah, like I mean, like is
Wow.
is held.
He just said, yeah,
What?
that's crazy.
What?
Bro is nicer to people that are civilly held liable for sexual assault than like actual asylum seekers.
Well, at least they tried to come legally. So I mean,
The asylum process is legal, dude.
I do not. The asylum process is not legal.
Yes, it is. You don't even know how the asylum process
Dude.
works. Explain to me how it works.
Explain to me how it works. Explain to me how it works. Then.
Do you know? You're the one who's complaining about it. I already explained.
Explain it. Explain it.
You show up to a port of entry or other point at the border. You go to someone at Border Patrol and say, hey, I'd like to claim asylum. Then you have to pass a credible fear interview. And only if you pass that interview are you scheduled for a court date at immigration court.
And are you trying to tell me that you like were in a coma and you didn't like see how that was abused?
How would that be abused if, again, for every 100 people that show up, 19 of them are actually
It's
getting
abused
asylum?
because thousands of people are showing up at the border trying to seek asylum.
Okay.
And when you have Democratic governors saying, "Hey guys, maybe we should stop all this,"
We actually had Democrats in the Congress trying to pass a law that made asylum, I actually disagree with part of it, that made asylum harder to get and would have hired more immigration judges because this was an efficiency problem. And if Trump cared so much about government efficiency, he wouldn't have come in and fired all the same immigration judges that have to adjudicate these cases. He wouldn't be sending ICE to immigration courthouses where people are following the rules. Despite knowing that Trump is doing this, they're doing the right thing. They're choosing to be brave and go to immigration court. They're still getting detained by ICE.
But did you know, like those resolutions, like that you're talking about, like those would have admitted so many immigrants in at one time, right? That was a Trojan horse.
Which resolutions?
The one that you're talking about, that bill, right?
That bill was like very tough on immigration. There's like left-wing criticism of that bill, if anything. What are you talking
Left-wing
about?
criticism doesn't mean anything, right? Like I don't.
It's just an opinion.
Well, there's like really far left people who like consider like Joe Biden like a fascist.
Well,
So
no. It wasn't super far left people. It was saying that they're making asylum harder to seek. They're making it easier to turn down asylum claims, and they're also hiring and beefing up border patrol. The
and it would have
one of the
let
best
him.
aspects of that bill, though, was hiring more immigration judges, so that when someone comes here to claim asylum, they're not waiting for 3 years in limbo.
Yeah, but we don't want an immigration process that lets people in like
Yes, I don't know
quickly.
who we is. Every single poll on this shows that people do want asylum seekers to come here and seek
Well, not
asylum.
the right, not the right. So I mean, like that's
No,
your.
the American
Well,
public
I
in
have a
general.
question. If you were in the country during World War II, right, and people were trying to immigrate to our country, fleeing from the Holocaust, would you let them legally enter our country?
Uh,
Would you let them seek asylum in our country?
well, probably not. Once again, like, do you disagree with? Do
But the
you,
German guy who was held liable for sexual assault, the German guy gets to come in, but not the actual refugees.
oh, but like, bro, this
No,
is
he just
interesting
said
because
Holocaust victims shouldn't be allowed into our country. If you knew that they would be killed, if you do not
well,
let
if I
them
knew that they would
legally,
be, if I see,
if you
like
knew that
now
they
you're
would be
adding that
killed,
in, you're adding that
if
in.
you knew
If
that
I
they
He's
knew
would
not
be
that,
adding that
killed,
in. That's already the standard to get asylum in this
yeah,
country.
yeah, no, seriously, I'm serious. Like for people who are trying to come to our country who are fleeing the Holocaust, they were at threat of dying, because if they were sent back to the
nobody knew
country
that.
they were fleeing from, that would be the country that's trying to exterminate them.
So Palestinians should have let Jews in. That's your opinion. So like they should have just let all the Jews in and just acceded to like
They didn't
having a
even
like.
have sovereignty.
We're
Britain let
talking
them in.
about in the United States.
But you're talking about if I was the leader of the country, but like I wanna apply this to the other place that had that happen. Like so you would have shamed the Palestinians for not wanting Holocaust potential Holocaust people in. Is what you're saying?
It's not no, no, that's specifically the establishment of an ethno state, right, without the rights of the of people, or if it's legal
But did you agree
immigration,
with
right?
did you agree with Jewish immigration there?
What would you say?
Do you agree? Did you agree with Jewish immigration
I
in Palestine?
disagree with establishing a Jewish ethno state based
So
upon
so do
apartheid
you,
and colonialization.
but did okay,
That's
so you're
not what I'm
dodging
arguing for.
you're dodging it.
I'm saying Jewish refugees to the United States.
But so you agree with so you disagree with it in one place, but but in the United States, I have to agree with it.
I think you should agree with it in the United States.
I think
Yes.
that's insanely hypocritical. I think that's insanely
How?
You're
hypocritical.
making a false equivalency here.
It's not
You
a false
understand that
equivalency.
when Jewish people started immigrating to what was called the British Mandate for Palestine, the Palestinian people were not the ones letting them in. It was the British government who had sovereignty over that area.
Yes.
And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say if you gave the Palestinian people a state and sovereignty, they probably would have accepted refugees.
Okay, but they knew they were going to die. Like remember, I mean, oh,
No, this
can I say
started
that?
in the 1880s. They knew this.
But when you said
And
that,
again, notice how you never answered Parker's question or my question. You
but
just
you
brought up
you
something
know that
else
they're going
to
to, but you know that they're going
deflect
to,
from the point.
you know they're going to be victims, but you won't let them into Palestine. That's rich to me. Okay,
Wait,
I literally just said the opposite.
you didn't say the opposite.
If specifically we were living there, we would be okay with them immigrating to the country, given that it's immigration. There's a difference between immigration and stealing and taking people's land and killing
And like
people.
settler colonialism, yeah.
Yeah, there's a huge distinction between immigration and that.
I think that's a forced distinction. They immigrated to
Hold on.
Palestine.
What?
Between colonizing a land to establish a state versus within the format of a country's rules
That happened.
applying for asylum.
That happened years. Okay, so like, so you don't, so you disagree with all of the immigration that happened to Israel itself, right? During the so like all the
Are you
programs.
like not hearing what we're saying right now?
Who granted
I'm just
the
saying. I'm
authority?
just trying to
It
get
was,
about
it was
what you
specifically
disagree.
colonizers that granted the authority, not specifically the people that were living there. And again, like what Adam said already, is that if the people were living there had that determination, they would have taken, right, people in terms of immigrants and people who are migrating. So I don't know why we're talking about this when we're asking you about the context of the United States. Given
Well,
that
it's
we've
because
already
you said
addressed
that
this,
you know that they're going to be unalive, and and then now you're trying to backtrack in one
yeah,
area,
I'm asking you.
then force me to push into a position in the other.
I'm asking you, do you think that we should have specifically taken in Jewish refugees during the Holocaust?
I think that just like Palestine, we had a right to not take immigrants in.
I'm asking you, what do you think that we should have done?
What do you think? I think we should have done exactly what Palestine did and everyone else did, and say, hey, like, I agree, I see what's going on, but I can't help you.
Okay. So you're saying that you would let people who are Jewish die, right, in the Holocaust, well, because you would not provide them a pathway to the United States when we could, when it would have no negative impact on our country, when actually the immigration of people who are Jewish coming to our country was actually very positive.
No, I would not.
Also, it's super
But
gross the way you're just like misrepresenting and lying about what's happening in Gaza and what
misrepresenting.
happened in Israel and like the origin of that conflict
How
in
am
the
I lying?
first place.
They immigrated there. Like I don't get the
No,
point.
they
No.
colonized.
They immigrated first, okay, and
No.
then that
What
happened.
country were they immigrating? They went there to establish a state. Palestinians were not mad that they were there. They were mad that they were trying to establish a state and usurp their sovereignty on their land.
Were they trying to establish a state in the United States?
No, Holocaust
We wouldn't
survivors
have
were
an
not
issue
coming
with
here to
that.
establish a state in the U.S. They just wanted a place to stay.
So they want so they didn't want to establish a state in the U.S., but they did want to establish a state in Palestine. Is what you're saying?
Yes. Maybe if you
They
just
were
do
just trying to
history,
survive.
that'd be great because there was no official state there. That was the British mandate for Palestine. It was like a colonized place, whereas the United States was a sovereign state with rules about seeking asylum that are outlined in the Immigration Nationality Act, which you don't
Okay,
even know.
so this is hilarious. So you think that without the
It is
Holocaust
hilarious.
happening, without the Holocaust happening, they would have immigrated to Palestine and colonized it? That's what you think?
I literally just said the opposite. People started going there in the 1880s, but the fact that you keep
Okay, but
deflecting,
you're saying
the fact that you keep
specifically with
deflecting
the
to
Holocaust.
Palestine and not actually engaging with the
Because it's
topic at
hilarious
hand,
how the double standards you're putting on. Like
There is
we're
no
asking
double
for your
standard.
standards.
There's
Also,
my
no
standard
double
is
standard.
so should a state be so a state should be allowed to enforce immigration policy. That's my standard. Like depending on how I
the
want.
U.S.'s immigration policy, if they enforced it correctly, allows people to seek asylum and get granted asylum if they're in fear for their life. You're the one opposing our immigration laws.
Correctly in this instance just means what you want. Like I see that very clearly. Oh, they should just
What
let
are
them
you
in
even
because-
saying right now?
I'm saying that your standards are selective, right? That's what I'm saying. Because you don't think
We're
it should be
not.
enforced.
We're
in
not.
this area.
We
I was just
literally have
repeating the
already
same thing.
answered these questions multiple times, and you're still deflecting away from the question. I'm going to give you 15 seconds to answer our specific question, or I'm going to kick you.
Okay, go ahead.
So will you answer the specific question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you not remember it?
And, okay, I thought you were going to restate it. Restate it again.
Would you accept Jewish asylum seekers and refugees into the country during the Holocaust?
During the Holocaust, given the specific context of not knowing what was going to happen, no, I would not.
So you wouldn't say that they should not be allowed into our country. You're against asylum across the entire board.
Yes, I'm against asylum because I think it's abused, and I think that
If
in
you
the recent
know
time,
that the person will die if they do not get asylum in our country, would you be okay with it?
well, if I know specifically, as if I had like foresight into the future, yeah, obviously, but that's a completely different scenario.
So you'd be okay with it given that you do know. Okay. So in the context of asylum, right, it's incredibly relevant because it's they're being persecuted based upon a protected class, meaning that their life is at risk.
So how do you know that?
We have an adjudication process. You're saying, oh, if I had foresight, I
But
could
they have
predict
to
the
be
future.
here. They have
The
to be here
entire
to-
court
they
process,
have to
when
be-
you
they have
seek
to-
asylum, the entire court process when you seek asylum is the judge determining, is your life actually at threat? That's the
Okay,
whole
but
point.
they have to be here to seek that asylum. So therefore, I don't want it.
What?
So they have to come here to seek that judge to adjudicate that issue, don't they?
Yeah, that's how
Okay,
that
so
would work.
then, so they have to come to the border, claim asylum, and that's
So you oppose us enforcing immigration law as it currently exists.
I oppose allowing
say
for
that.
a system that is
Just say that
clearly,
sentence.
that is clearly being abused.
Just say that sentence. You oppose us enforcing immigration law as it currently exists on the books.
I oppose us enforcing immigration law as it currently exists to be abused. That's what I oppose.
Where'd abuse come from?
Abuse comes. Do you not see the abusive tendencies of this?
How is it abusive when 19% of them actually get to end up staying in the country?
It's abusive because they all swarm to the border and then they come and claim asylum and then they're allowed to stay for long.
So is it the formation in which they walk towards the border that constitutes abuse? If they walk in a single file line, will you be happier?
Abuse constitutes giving them houses, giving them all sorts of stuff to stay here.
Abuse constitutes giving them. What are you even talking about?
They're given housing, they're given healthcare, they're given.
You know what? Wouldn't it be really nice if they could just see an immigration judge expediently, so they don't have to wait in limbo for 3 years?
Wouldn't it be nice if they just weren't allowed here at all?
No,
I
that
think-
wouldn't be nice. That'd be pretty mean.
It would be
Pretty
nice.
fucked up.
If they immigrated like legally instead of coming.
Like by seeking asylum legally, by like coming to a port of entry legally. Like
Yeah,
the
so
thing
like
you
No.
oppose.
you want people to like not commit crimes, right?
Yeah,
And you want to hold people accountable for committing crimes, right?
absolutely.
Okay, so then like why did you vote for Donald Trump given that that would mean that he's not held accountable? because like he really wasn't sentenced to prison because the fact that you guys voted for him. So if you wanted criminals to be held accountable, you wouldn't have voted for him in the very first place.
How is he a
He was
criminal?
convicted of 34 felonies.
If he was really a criminal, I think that the left would love him and they would want him
He
released, just like
literally
the
is a criminal.
guy alive, the Ukrainian girl. I think if he was a criminal,
Wait,
he would
no,
have
no, no. Don't say if he's a criminal. He is a convicted criminal.
convicted of what?
34 felonies.
34 felonies.
Yes.
Do you know how rigged those felonies were?
Tell us.
They were not rigged. Okay, so now okay, so if we could just say that criminal cases are rigged, well then all these criminal cases against undocumented immigrants, all of them are rigged.
Okay, but it was just about some fraudulent paperwork or something like that. Like it wasn't really like
There was a campaign finance violation that constituted the pretext to upgrade those charges to felonies.
Yeah, so it's just like a loss of paperwork for like the undocumented immigrants as well.
a loss of paper. You mean like
Yeah,
storming
it's
across?
it's just an issue with paperwork. So
Russian-
why is an
you're
issue with
comparing-
paper? Wait, why is the issue with paperwork only a problem specifically in the context of undocumented immigrants, but not with Donald Trump? Seriously,
Well, because
it's an
because
issue
they're-
with paper. It is literally an issue with paperwork in
Are we
terms of
giving Donald
undocumented
Trump free
immigrants.
stuff? Are we giving him free stuff for his crimes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, he literally wants $230 million from the government because of the fact that he is experienced quote unquote emotional distress for being targeted for the crimes that he's committed.
I think this is a bit different than like I think he's asking. I don't know about that. I think that's a little bit
No,
different
he's
than like
suing
being
them.
given-
He's suing them. Yeah.
Yes,
And
he's suing. I
easy-
think
and you know who determines whether or not he gets it? His own administration.
His own personal lawyers
His
who work
own
at the DOJ now,
personal
who defended
lawyer.
him in those criminal cases.
No corruption detected at all. Zero. No corruption detected.
okay. Well, even if so I'm an honest person. Even if I would agree with that, I still think that the left is really corrupt for what they're doing with illegal immigrants. So I mean, that's fine, right?
What? How are we corrupt?
I
Can
think
you
you're
define-
corrupt.
Actually, can you define corruption?
What would you define letting
Don't
millions of
ask me a
invaders?
question. Answer my question.
would you
Can you
define
define
letting-
corrupt? Can you define corruption?
Define corruption.
Yes.
Is this your favorite gaslighting tactic or something?
Gaslighting? What is gaslighting?
Define gaslighting. Like,
You want me to define corruption, right? You want me to
Defining
define
terms equals
you want me-
gaslighting.
You want me to sit here and define words with you all day, define semantics as if you don't know the
I'm not
word
asking you
corruption.
to define words all day. Like I'm asking you what corruption is, just to clarify.
Yeah, do you want
because I
to
don't-
stay on topic, dude, or do you just want to
This is
argue?
on topic. It's not gaslighting, and I'm not going off of topic.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to ask me what I think is corrupt, fine, but you're going to ask me like, oh, what's the definition of this word? Like,
Yeah. What? No. What does corrupt mean? Like I'm asking you how you're using the term.
I think corrupt would just be like if say you're like a political leader, right? You're wielding your power and you're abusing it. That's a short definition I would give.
An abuse of power.
Yes, an abuse of power for all your own personal gain.
Okay. So sure, if you're saying an abuse of power for your own personal gain. So are you saying you said Democrats are doing that? So
Yes.
you're saying that we personally gain from immigrants coming to our country?
I think you personally gain from all of your narcissistic policies, but that's one of them.
How so? How do we personally gain?
I think Democratic politicians personally gain from all of their narcissistic policies, but I think you,
Such
narcissistic
as?
policy.
Wait,
What-
what narcissistic policy?
DEI, illegal immigration.
Can you name one? Can you name one DEI policy that you disagree with?
All of them. Right?
Name one
Yeah.
specific one.
One specific DEI policy. Well, I mean, I've seen these policies in action. Like, it's just like we're like, oh, well, we have to make sure that a Native American gets a job. It's just kind of ridiculous.
Wait, so you're
not
not
even what
naming
DEI
a
is.
specific DEI policy that you disagree with. So one, you just claimed that like Democrats have narcissistic policy, but then you specifically couldn't even mention any of the narcissistic policy.
So you asked me to say
These are,
one
these are
specific
just
DEI
buzzwords.
policy.
DEI is just a buzzword to you. You're not even
It's a
saying
buzzword. So
what-
DEI, it just doesn't exist anymore. DEI
No,
doesn't
not
exist
not to
anymore.
you, not in the way that you're referencing it, because you don't even know what it is. We know what DEIA is. We know
What
what
is
diversity,
DEI?
equity, inclusion, and
me.
accessibility is. We can give you explicit examples of it.
All right, then educate me, Parker.
Yeah, for example, or I'll give you explicit examples of DEIA, right? It's going to be specifically for people who are disabled, right? Different types of ramps for people who do not have the ability to walk, right? Ramps so that they can specifically, utilizing their method of mobility, right, be able to get up to different buildings. So having that in the context of different building, right, is an example of DEIA because it's increasing, right, equity, accessibility, and inclusion for disabled people.
Have we not had ramps for like centuries? Like, what does that have to do with DEI? The current day.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait, saying we've had DEI for centuries then? But no, we have not had DEI for centuries.
We've had ramps for disabled people for quite a while now before DEI was even implemented. So what are you talking about?
Okay, but that's DEI. That's an example. And also, I think
I
the
think that's
Electoral
huge.
College is DEI, and that was specifically like at the inception of the country. So the Senate and the
I think
Electoral College
you're
are
expanding the
DEI for
definition
small
of it.
states
I think you're
that
expanding the
typically are going to
definition.
help Republicans.
I think you're expanding the definition so that you can avoid
No, no, it's
talking.
diversity, equity, and inclusion for small states.
What does that have to do with DEI as it's known as today, Parker?
Because it's literally increasing the access to determine elections without actually it being dependent on one vote equals one vote, 1 to 1 vote. It's specifically that like each state gets a certain amount of electoral votes based upon their senators, which is given to each state regardless of population.
So how would you have it to where it wouldn't be DEI?
Yeah, you would just do popular vote.
Popular vote?
Yeah.
So like tyranny of the majority?
What do you mean tyranny of the majority? You just mean
So
the
like
majority
like a bunch of
determines it.
people.
Wait, so then are you saying that Trump being elected was the tyranny of the majority?
I thought you said the electoral college was DEI, dude.
It is, but he
So
won
that
by
wouldn't be
popular.
tyranny.
He won by popular vote too.
Okay, he won by popular vote and the electoral college. Why are you trying to
So wait,
derail?
are you saying that you prefer DEI?
I don't prefer any option. I think it's all just lesser of two evils. But like this is a complete
Wait, no.
derailment.
Do you prefer DEI like electoral college versus no electoral college?
Electoral college or no electoral. I prefer electoral college. I would say, but I don't think that either
Okay,
are good
so
options.
you like DEI when it helps
I
out
just said neither are
Republicans.
two options are good options. But this is
No, you
that's
just said
different
that
from
you
DEI.
just said that you support the electoral college being in place.
Are you comparing like DEI in companies to like the electoral college, like the way the government's ran?
The
Like
electoral
how are
college
you,
is DEI, dude.
how are they the same?
Also, you don't even know how DEI works in government hiring. I can give you a specific example that Trump made a big deal about in terms of the FAA hiring air traffic controllers. He said, oh, all these plane crashes are happening because of the DEI hires. If you read the actual DEI policy of the FAA, they specifically said, we are not lowering any of the hiring standards. What DEI does, DIA, is expand the applicant pools. They hire in places that are not connected to these places through networking, right? If you want to work in DC or on Wall Street, it's all networking, right? So what DEIA tries to do is to expand that to people that don't already have one foot in the door. Maybe they're living in a rural community, an urban community, whatever it may be. DEIA also, by the way, has helped like poor white people from like rural areas. So this idea that it's like we're gonna lower the standards and bring in the trans or whatever the fuck you think it is not attached to reality. It's not what DEIA is.
This is what I'm saying about narcissistic policies because like you're saying okay, so you say that they're not gonna lower the standard, right? That's what you're saying.
They didn't lower the standard. I'm
Okay,
describing to you an actual DEIA policy that existed
but then
in
the way
federal
you
hiring.
described it, right? Oh, we're gonna look in places and we're gonna look in specific places, not hire off merit. We're gonna hire in specific
They're
places.
keeping the same
Contradictory.
standards and expanding the applicant
It
pool. Do
doesn't
you know
matter
what that
what
means?
quote unquote standards they're using. They're hiring and selecting based off qualities that have nothing to do with standards.
You're just making stuff up now. Okay.
I'm making stuff up, so I think I think you just don't get how contradictory that is.
Have you read the FAA DEI policy that I'm referencing?
Well, you just explained it to me and it sounded contradictory.
How does it sound contradictory to say we're going to expand the people that can apply for the job, but keep the standards the same?
So you're going to expand the people that apply for the job, and you're going to keep the standards the same. So you're saying that we're going to look for diversity, but at the same time we're going to keep
Instead of saying, hey, this job is only open to people that graduate from Georgetown and have one foot in the door because they have all the right connections, we're going to go to poor areas and see if anyone here also meets those standards to hire them.
But that's discrimination.
That's discrimination?
Yes,
To
that's
allow more people to apply for a job?
well to select those people based off the fact that I just want to get diversity in, right?
If someone,
What?
hold on, if
No,
someone's
it's
born into
increasing
like
the
an,
applicant pool. You are not listening. It's not determining who they select. It's increasing the applicant pool.
Increasing the applicant pool.
Yes.
What does that have to do with DEI?
That's what DEI is. Oh my
That is not what
god.
DEI is. It's about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I've seen it in practice. I've
Yes,
seen what it
diversity,
looks like.
equity, and inclusion in applicant pools.
Also, like, what did you see in practice? Did you see some evil cabal of libs like sitting on some table saying, "Yes, that white one, throw his paper in the trash"? Like, what did you see? What
Yes,
did you witness?
I saw the most soyed out people of all time, like talking about how we want to hire, more
Soyed
Native
out? What do
American
you mean by
backgrounds.
soyed out? What do you mean by
Where did you
soyed
They're
see
out?
saying they want
this?
to expand the backgrounds,
Did you
right?
break into like a college admissions back room or where did you see this?
Dude.
No, I saw this at a little site.
He's like, I actually saw a private phone call from Dean and Parker, the biggest soy liberals you've ever seen in your life. And they actually were describing this themselves. They were saying they themselves are throwing out the applicants of people who are white men. They're throwing out their applications.
Deep state back at it again.
Oh, you don't believe victims anymore? That's crazy.
You're a victim
what'd you say?
of DEI?
I'm a victim. You don't believe my experience anymore, right? Okay.
Wait, of what? Of what are we talking about?
Oh, so you're saying that I'm lying, right? That's what you're saying.
With what? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you're saying that I'm lying about the.
I was just asking for proof that you're not lying. Like, give us some specifics of this supposed, like, you have looking through the looking glass, you've deciphered like the truth of DEI. Where did you see this?
Well, I saw this at a company.
Which company?
Do I have to like say the company, right? Like,
What was this? What sector was the company in?
what sector? It was like a. I mean, it was like it's like a hotel or something like that.
And you witnessed in the hiring process, they were like, "Yes, bring me the black applicants, throw the white ones in the trash." Like, what did you witness
They were
exactly?
literally talking about like diversity, how they wanted to hire more diverse people, things such as that nature.
What's the issue with that?
I think the issue is that is when you're focusing on a person's skin color and a person's identity.
No, you're changing now. They never said, "Hey, let's focus on this person's skin color." They said, "Hey, let's be more diverse with our hiring."
Yeah, like for
Okay, but
example, like
that's actually a
historically,
little
let's
euphemism
so like
to-
for example, historically, companies that didn't hire women, should they have had a thought process to maybe, oh, maybe we should hire women? Should they have done
Why
that?
should they hire women?
Why should
have
they hire
women?
women? What? You don't think that they should have that process? Because historically speaking, women were not allowed into the workforce to the same degree as men.
They weren't. Where's your proof of that?
Is this guy disputing that women were not in the workforce before?
Dude, this guy doesn't know feminism.
What was the law? What was the law that
This
said
guy, do you know
women,
what
you
first
can't
wave
work?
feminism was?
What was the law that said, "Hey, women, you can't work"? I want to know that law right now, right immediately.
Dude, women weren't even allowed to own property at one point. What are you talking about?
We're
Yeah,
talking about the work. We're talking about the nothing.
Literally, we can actually give you those laws. I'm not trolling. The fact that you're questioning this is actually nuts, dude. We
you're
can
saying that no
actually give
woman-
you those laws, by the way. We can look
So
that
no
up and
woman
give
ever
you the
worked.
laws.
So no woman has ever worked.
And now he's
before
changing. You're
30
saying no woman ever in the history of
Well, you said-
anything
well,
had
you
a
said they
job?
weren't
That's
allowed
not
to
what you
work.
were initially claiming.
You
So don't
said that they
shift the
weren't allowed to-
goalpost.
So you said that companies didn't allow them to work. I want to know the thing that said, "Hey, you're not allowed to work here," like legally barred, like Jim Crow style. Tell me.
So you want me to give you specific companies, I'll give you for that did not hire women historically?
I want you to give me like a policy.
Wait.
Like,
Wait,
yeah,
you
like,
want me to give you
give
companies that historically did not hire women?
Give me a specific policy.
Wait, why aren't we talking about companies? We were talking about companies, like not hiring women.
A specific policy by that company that said, "Hey, we're not hiring women."
Yeah, so give a specific policy that restricted women from having access to a job.
Yeah.
How about the laws that restricted women from having bank accounts?
Why are you switching the topic?
Wait, but like if you don't have a bank account, isn't that an aspect of like you getting a job or a
They
credit
didn't
card?
have bank accounts.
Yeah, like it literally was not allowed.
Okay, like this is just not even, and more stuff that's not even true. I swear.
What are you talking about?
There are literally examples of women who own bank accounts.
How
and
about
that
this?
are right.
Do you remember when women didn't have the right to vote?
Oh my God, it moves like it moves, working, voting, bank accounts. Okay, yeah, I do remember that.
Salary.
Like I said, do you not? I literally have examples of women who are allowed to have a bank account. Like you realize that, right? I have literal counterparts.
So do I. I'm sure my
Hey,
mom has a bank
there
account.
was
What are you
one
talking about?
example of a woman having a bank account. This is quite literally exactly what racist people say specifically about slavery. They say because there were some people who were black
It
that were
wasn't
not
just one.
enslaved,
Parker,
that
it
means
wasn't
that
just one.
slavery
Parker, it
wasn't
wasn't
bad
just one.
because it was
It wasn't just
applicable
one.
to people who are black or racially based,
One-
which is a ridiculous standpoint. It was absolutely, racism was a huge aspect of how it was quote unquote justified by people at that time, right? That's how they tried to justify it, which is disgusting and abhorrent, right?
It wasn't
That's
just
what
one
we were
woman.
calling
Though,
it.
so like you're unhinged
It's the
right
same
now.
reasoning.
So
What's that?
it wasn't just one though. It wasn't just one. So I don't know what you're talking
Also,
about.
I
I
don't know why
think
you would die on this hill if you just like literally Google like points in history where women were like legally prohibited from working. There's like a whole handful of Supreme Court cases,
I mean,
company
I
policies,
specifically
state and
remember.
local and federal laws that prevented women either from working a certain number of hours, from keeping their salary from work. I mean, if they're married, they have even less of a chance. Like, what are you talking about?
I specifically remember multiple counterexamples to your
You
argument.
remember the women's suffrage? What do you remember? Were you there for that as well when women were being legally barred from working? Were you like, I saw the DEI
You have
conversation,
legally
I
a
also saw
law that
this?
says women were legally not allowed to work. So I really don't understand like why you're still trying to push this because I mean
Mueller
it's
versus Oregon, 1908, Supreme Court upheld Oregon's law limiting women to 10 hours of work per day in factories and laundries. You have the Illinois Factory Act that barred women from working more than 8 hours a day in factories. You have New York labor laws, Massachusetts labor laws. You have state and local laws about this. Women were not allowed to keep the money they earned
Yeah.
from working.
Yeah,
wait, hold on a second.
there's actually something you can look at from the Department of Labor. It's an overview of between 1920 through 2021, and you can actually see that the Women's Bureau was established specifically in 1920, specifically to formulate standards and policies which shall promote the welfare of wage-earning women, improve the working conditions, increase efficiency, and advance opportunities for profitable employment. Do you disagree with this?
Wait,
Do you,
did your own example not just disprove
do
you?
you disagree with the Women's Bureau?
Wait, hold
Like
on. Can
being
you say that again?
established. Do you disagree with the Women's Bureau being established? Because this actually is DEI. Like a method that they specifically gave the Bureau the duty to formulate standards and policies which shall promote the welfare of wage-earning women, improve their working conditions, increase their efficiency, and advance their opportunities for profitable employment.
And what does this have to do with anything?
That's DEI.
That's
Do you
DEI.
disagree
How?
with it?
How is that DEI?
It's literally diversity, equity, and inclusion and accessibility
What
for
do you,
women
you realize
to
you
be
have
able
to
to get
explain
into the
it.
workforce.
You realize you have to explain how a women's bureau being created is DEI.
It's literally a policy that says they're going to formulate standards and policies to promote the welfare of wage-earning women, improve their working conditions, and increase efficiency and advance their opportunities. That's literally DEI. Like equitable
Literally, that is not
opportunities,
DEI.
inclusive. Like, do you think DEI is only race?
So giving somebody an opportunity is DEI.
Literally. It's literally a mechanism to increase opportunities. Yes.
I don't have a problem with a specific place saying, "Hey, I want to like increase opportunities with women." I have a problem
That's okay.
when
So
you're
then you're
trying
okay with
to.
DEI. So then why are you saying that's
That's not
narcissistic
DEI.
policy?
That's not
Wait, do you
DEI.
think it's narcissistic policy to implement the Women's Bureau in the
No, I don't,
Department of Labor?
because it has nothing to do with DEI.
It is DEI. That's literally DEI.
It's specifically saying, "Hey, women, you're going to do your thing over here, and then men, you're going to do your thing over here." That's what I think is fine.
What? No,
That's literally
this
segregation.
is saying it's going to increase working standards and labor standards for women and increase opportunities for women. I don't know what's not connecting. Wait, so
It's
then
not connecting because it has no correlation.
so
It
if we
doesn't.
advocated for policies specifically to increase to formulate standards and policies which shall promote the welfare of wage earners, improve their working conditions, and increase the efficiency and advance opportunities for profitable employment for people who are black, would that specifically be DEI?
No, it would not. That's not DEI.
Okay, so it sounds like he agrees with it in practice, but not in like just saying it's DEI. So it sounds like
it's a
you
bad
disagree with the
for him.
word.
It's a no word.
Yeah,
That's
DEI
like
is just a
basic.
no
That's like
word.
basic civil right. That's like a basic civil rights
Yeah,
thing.
that's
That's not.
DEI. That's literally
DEI is not civil
DEI.
Civil rights sounds
Dude.
pretty good.
DEI has nothing to do with like civil rights saying, "Hey, we're going to improve your standard." That's like saying like child labor laws are like DEI. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, bro.
I mean,
And then
I,
your own points disproved you when you said, "Hey, we're going to improve
if you
working
think that
conditions
this
for
is
women." It's not like
disproving
women
me,
didn't
that's
work.
just really sad, man.
So you lied and said women didn't work. They worked, and then you're lying and saying that
I
this is
didn't lie.
DEI.
When did I lie?
You said that women couldn't work, and then you cited the law that said women could work X amount of hours.
Wait, no, this is specifically to change this is to change the conditions for how people were working. I'm saying that it is the case that women were not allowed to work to the same degree as men, and there were societal conditions that limited them from being able to work. So there needed to be DEI specifically to improve the working conditions and improve women's ability to work to a greater extent.
You said not allowed to work though at first, and then you said like, okay,
Yes,
improve
literally.
work.
For example, there were plenty of marriages that existed where the conditions of society force women into these conditions of marriages and force them into conditions where they couldn't work because they were supposed to be specifically working at the house, right? In terms of that, like specifically doing domestic labor. Do you
Parker,
understand what I'm saying?
if you had the opportunity not to work, would you not work or would you work?
I would work.
You would work. I mean,
Yes,
that's just your.
I like doing this.
Yeah, but I think most people would say, right, that they wouldn't want to work if they have
Okay,
the
that's
opportunity
fine.
to work.
You understand that domestic labor is working. It's just not like
Domestic labor
creating
is working.
employment.
So going shopping and cleaning something is working to you.
Bro, he thinks women who stay at home in terms of like being stay-at-home moms, right? You think that they're just like shopping. Like, dude, you have to get a
I mean,
grip, dude.
I've literally
My
heard
mom
women
was a
say
stay-at-home
that.
mom. My mom would work constantly all the time. She was constantly doing things. The fact that people demean people who are stay-at-home parents and the work that they bring is actually disgusting and horrible.
When you
And the
get
fact
fired
that
at home,
domestic
you
labor is
get fired at
constantly
home.
diminished creates this idea of a double shift for women because women specifically are often told specifically and societally enforced to a greater extent to do domestic labor while also working in the context of the labor force because of the fact that people do not view it as work, which is insane. And this type of idea needs to change. The fact that you don't view it as work is disgusting.
If I take a day off at home, if the woman takes a day off at home, is she fired or like I think there's a pretty big difference that you're trying to
I'm
gloss
sorry.
over
Do you think
the narrative.
stay-at-home parents do work?
I think that they do work, but not to the extent that like labor, like wage labor is. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
they're just
That's
not
absolutely
paid for their labor. It's unpaid labor.
what?
It's
Hold
unpaid
on, say that
labor.
again.
Just because
It's
it's unpaid
unpaid
labor
labor.
doesn't mean it's not labor.
Okay, doing the dishes is unpaid labor. Would you compare that to doing a factory job? That's ridiculous.
Well, it's domestic. It's domestic labor, and I think it is a job. Like in the context of
I
someone
think you're
being a
trying to.
stay-at-home
I think you're
parent,
trying to equate.
it's not
I
just
think you're
it's
trying to
not just
equate a
doing
nine
the
to five.
dishes, bro. It's not just doing the dishes. You don't get it. Taking care of children, running a household, setting up everything for the children is absolutely a constant job, one that you oftentimes
I
don't
think
get
that
a break from.
I think so too. I think so too. But I can't. I don't think you can compare it to an actual
And
job that is
stay-at-home
like
yeah, no, what do you mean compare it to an actual job? It is an actual job.
no, like an
Everything.
actual wage job where you're getting paid like per
Wait,
hour.
just because you're
Okay,
not
and
getting paid for it
and
doesn't
you're
mean you're
saying
not providing something.
I'm not saying you're trying to. I'm not saying you're not providing anything. I'm just saying you tried to compare it like as if it was like in any way equivalent
Yeah,
at all.
it should be viewed as them engaging in a job or labor because
I think so too.
they are fulfilling something necessary for the context of that relationship.
But who's the
Like it's a
who?
job necessary.
Which political group hates on that and then says it's like so bad though? That's your side. So like I'm not the one demeaning that.
Do you
That's
think
you.
people working in childcare have jobs, or do you think they
You
don't
work in
actually have jobs?
childcare like daycare.
Yeah, is
I
childcare
think
people who work in childcare, is that a job?
I don't even think daycare should exist. But like yeah, that's a job.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You think daycare shouldn't exist?
I think in an ideal world, like people would raise their kids on their own. But I mean that's
You
just
mean
me.
they wouldn't be able to work? They're supposed to have the kid. They're supposed to have the kid at work.
Yeah, I think you should. I believe that a traditional structure like where the mom is staying home and then the guy is just making all the money. I think that's preferable to me. But yeah,
And in that context, do you think that women are engaging in a job or labor?
I think they're engaging in a very important job for society. Actually,
So
I
they
think
do
they're
have a job.
engaging.
So you said they don't have an actual job. You agree now that they do have an actual job when they're a stay-at-home parent.
I don't get why you're trying to equate the two jobs.
And
Like,
also, by the way, he just advocated to enforce the very things that we just said that were a reason as to why we needed DEI to a greater extent. So
there
actually,
would be no enforcement.
you're saying women should go back into the house. Is that what you just said?
What?
You just said women should go back into the house and they should be stay-at-home parents.
I think that preferably literally the best. Why would you want to be?
No, preferably they would do it. Preferably they would fulfill the particular role that they would like to.
Well, see, the thing is, that would be great, but there's a lot of brainwashing going on, and like they're not able to fulfill the role that they would like to because they're being told that they need to work, which is kind of ridiculous to me.
Society indicates you need to work. Everyone needs that. The reality
No,
of the
but
world is that we
then
need
why
to
didn't they
work.
work before? They didn't work, and then they started working. What does that tell you?
Yeah, women did work in the context of the fucking household. Again, you keep trying to run this argument. They did work.
You keep this is just derailing the conversation. Okay, labor in the workforce. Okay, in the workforce, like the actual workforce, compared to not in the actual workforce. Okay, can we just agree on that?
I mean, in the general sense, I would consider domestic labor a part of the workforce.
I don't even know like how I can like comprehend
Like
that level of
what do you
idiocy.
mean? In a colloquial sense, I'm using it that way.
So in the home, you have, yeah, I guess you have a dress code. I guess you can get fired if you come in the wrong dress. I guess I don't know, like maybe you have to pay bills when
Wait,
you're at
wait. I'm
home.
currently on my job right now. Who can fire me?
What?
I'm at my
Are you a
job right
stay at
now.
home?
Who's gonna
Are you a
fire
stay at
me?
home dad?
I'm in my fucking pajamas right now.
Are you a
I
stay at
am
home dad?
unironically in pajamas right now at work.
Are you a stay at home dad?
Who's gonna fire me?
Are you a stay at home dad?
No, I don't have kids.
Okay, then you're not doing a job then, I guess.
I mean,
What?
he's kind of sunning you right now.
You
so I
think
guess
this
in
isn't
that
a
sense.
job?
I don't think this is a job. I think this is a pastime. I think this is like
Moira, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much, Chan. I really appreciate the $3. Thank you, Geoff. Thank you so much for the $10. GX, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate it. Jersey, thank you for the $10. Asim, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Emily, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for supporting the lack of a job. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
what do you do, Parker? Like I don't really think that this is like an actual like I think you're like conflating like factory work, right? Or something that's actually like
This is a job. I run a business, dude. This is a business.
so wait, you're your own boss then. You don't have a job, you're your own boss.
That is, wait, do you think people who are self-employed don't have a job? Are you stupid?
What?
Do you think people who are self-employed have a job?
I think you're your own boss. I think you're
Okay,
working for yourself.
so Donald Trump, when he was a CEO, doesn't have a real job.
Well, like once again, like you're conflating so many different types
Oh,
of jobs.
Trump didn't have a real job until he became
Okay,
president of the
but-
United States. Trump didn't have a real job.
So you think
Michelle,
being,
thank you for the $10. Thank you. You think he
making
thinks
a job.
entrepreneurs don't have real jobs? That's this guy's
Go make
view.
a sandwich and do the hardest thing to do in the world, Parker. Go do that.
You just
I
tell me
guess
to
that's
go
a
make
real
a
job.
sandwich? Why'd you just tell me to
Yeah,
go make a
that's a
sandwich?
job. Like that's a job, right?
I'm
I guess
currently
that's
working a job right now. Jason, thank you for
But
the
if you were to
$2.
go
Thank
make
you.
it, but if you were to go make a sandwich, that'd be unpaid labor.
Michelle,
See,
Michelle, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you.
it would be unpaid labor if you went to go make a sandwich.
So,
But you consider that unpaid labor.
yeah, what's your point?
I mean, but my point is how ridiculous you sound claiming that like everything you do inside of your house is unpaid labor.
Yeah,
Just
it is.
calling it ridiculous without explaining why it's ridiculous is ridiculous.
It's
And also,
ridiculous
you're-
because of the way you're trying to inflate the language to make it seem like it's equivalent to like wage, like an actual wage
It is
paying job.
domestic labor. And also, by the way, you just tried to say that I don't have a real job even though I am paid. What type of reasoning is that? You just said it wasn't a job because they're not paid. But when I am paid, you said I don't have a real job. What are you talking about?
I consider like real job to be something that's actually productive to society to me.
Yadira, thank you for the $5. This is productive.
How's it productive for you to call like,
So
you know,
if it's
making
not
a point?
productive, why'd you join the live?
I think it's productive because you're brainwashing people into your
Okay.
narcissistic.
Okay, so you do think that these types of conversations are productive to engage in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, you just conceded.
This isn't a job. Like, are we working
Kristen,
on the
thank you
clock
so much
right
for
now?
the $10. Thank you.
Oh, you on the
It's
clock
a
right
job
now?
for me. It's a job for me because there's fucking 8,000 people in the stream, 8,500 people
You're
in
on-
the stream.
so you're on the
And
clock
I
right
appreciate
now.
you're amazing. What's up?
So you're on the clock right now. You're grifting really hard right now.
I'm grifting. Can you define
Yeah.
grifting?
Yeah, grifting is when you like hold all of your political beliefs, not because of you believe them or not, but just because like you're getting incentivized to do them.
Okay, so you think I'm a Trump supporter? You think I'm a Trump
No,
supporter?
I think you're a left winger.
No, so I'm a left. So I'm not grifting then. I actually hold the beliefs.
Left wingers grift all the time, dude. It's just the most insane.
wait,
thing.
wait. So you just said I don't have the beliefs, and then I do have the beliefs. Which one is it?
Well, you have
Pick it.
beliefs that are in Trump. Like people
$3.
on the right
Thank you for the
don't-
$5. Thank you so much, Victoria, with the 5. Jay, thank you for the 5. Jillian with the $1 for the grift. Soothing, thank you for the $5. Thank you.
And look at him grifting right now.
Iris, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. You don't even know what a grift is.
You're being incentivized to hold your beliefs right
Courtney,
now.
thank you for the $1. Me being paid does not mean I'm grifting. It would be if I dishonestly hold a view.
Okay.
So I am a liberal. I actually
Maybe.
do disagree with Donald Trump. I think that Donald Trump is a horrible person. Do you think I don't actually believe that?
Do you disagree with anything on the left?
Yes.
Like what?
I disagree with Democrats' position on Israel.
On Israel?
Yes.
Why?
Because
Why?
I think that Israel was committing a genocide or is committing a genocide.
And why do you believe that?
Because it meets the definition in the Geneva Convention. They are destroying in part or in whole the Palestinian population.
Has the population been destroyed in part or in whole right now?
Yes, in part.
Yes.
Okay. So you believe that's happening right now? Where's your evidence of that?
They've killed, confirmed over 60,000 Palestinians, plus many of them that are under the rubble. We could point to the fact that they were starving Palestinians intentionally by not allowing enough aid to go into the region, which is a war crime.
And
Orange,
the
thank you
actual
so much
death
for
toll is
$5.
probably over
Sorry.
200,000.
Exactly, literally.
200,000?
Yeah, because of
Yes.
people that are under the rubble and people that have died due to starvation because of the intentional effects due to Israel. Those are specifically just confirmed direct, like 100. Like we have really good reason.
This is what I mean by grift. I mean the 200,000 number. Isn't that like a number from like the Gaza health industry? Or,
No, it's from the Lancet study that estimates the number of excess deaths in Gaza as of last summer was 186,000. It's been over a year since then, so it makes a lot of sense to say that Israel's genocide in Gaza has caused over 200,000 excess deaths.
well, when the actual when the health ministry in Gaza says the complete opposite and says less, then I have to believe that you're grifting.
The health ministry is undercounting.
It's under
Yeah.
oh yeah, okay,
That's what
so
we're just
we should
describing,
investigate. We should investigate the Gaza health ministry. We should definitely investigate the immigrant
Which is
movement.
why many groups do, and then they verify their numbers.
Yeah, I think we
And
need
they
to
have been
investigate.
verified. Jennifer, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. Amariana, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank
That's what I
you.
mean by grift.
Anna,
We-
thank
we
you for the
only
$5
disagree
for the
with
grift. Thank you so much. Rhiannon, thank you for the $33. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. For We Love a Man with a Job from another self-employed member of the workforce. Thank you so much, Rhiannon. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much for
You
supporting the
only
grift.
disagree
Supporting
with
the
Democrats
grift. Thank you so
because
much.
of
I
the
really
grift.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Because
We love
free
grifting.
Palestine,
I love
free
grifting so
Palestine.
much.
I'm not a
Absolutely,
grifter,
free
but free
Palestine.
Palestine.
I just got a
Yeah,
grift
man.
real quick, too.
That's
Thank
a-
you, Myra,
That's
for
a
the
literal grift.
$5
That's
on Cash App.
you're
Thank you so
literally
much.
grifting. You're
W
only
Griff,
disagreeing.
thank you so much. Amanda with the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Amanda. I really appreciate it. Seriously, though. Thank you so much, Amanda. So many people literally undermined it. Jillian, thank you for the $6. Thank you so much for the grift. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Also, you know how insane it is to say like, "Oh, what do you disagree?" and you only bring up like one thing, and it's literally a grift, right? Like it's actually crazy.
Dude, you couldn't even define what a grift is.
A grift is
Jennifer,
when
again, thank
you're.
you for the $10 for the ongoing
Wait a
grift.
minute. That's a
Pamela,
trap.
thank you so
That's
much
a
for the $5 for the grift. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's big. He's
What is
grifting,
it?
so you're grifting, so you have to say, "I don't know what grifting means," instead of actually like defending yourself because you know you're guilty.
So me just saying thank you, it means me grifting?
No, you saying that I don't know what grifting means, like that's a classic like tactic that people do
Well,
when they get caught out.
based on the way that you defined it, I'm not a grifter. Alex, thank you for the
Not a
$6.66 for the grifters for life.
So you're not being incentivized to support
I mean,
the
think of the
demographic
dollar.
one in every single area except for one.
Well, I believe everything that I say on the live.
You believe everything you say,
Yeah.
truthfully.
Yes.
I mean, I don't believe you, but I mean,
You understand there's more money to be made by being like MAGA.
Yeah.
No,
We have
there-
all the good,
like,
all the good
genuinely-
Russian money coming in.
Do you think that I'm not smart enough to, like, if I actually was grifting, be able to grift on the right? Like, I could totally be a grifter on the right. Like, if I specifically wanted to, I have enough intelligence to do that.
I think you can make money on the right, definitely, but I think that the left is an entire grift. You see guys like Hassan, right? Like you see a lot of grifters on the left that make tons of, like he's literally in a mansion, right? Like he's literally in a mansion grifting, right? I
The
mean,
one
like,
fucking example that you have.
yeah,
Kevin,
the,
thank you so
the,
much
the
for the 10.
one largest.
And I don't think he's grifting.
mind you, this guy says that he's a
No,
socialist.
I
and
definitely disagree with him, but I don't think he's grifting.
you don't think he's grifting in $1 million mansion, claiming
No, I
that
don't
he
think
hates
he's
rich.
grifting.
You don't think he's grifting in $1 million mansion, right?
No,
Like,
wait. Having a mansion does not mean you're grifting. And I don't think
Grifting is when
I
you
mean,
have
I'd
a
have to see
mansion.
his house. I don't know if he necessarily lives in a mansion. I'd have to look.
he lives in a mansion and he claims he hates rich people so much. Like you can't think of a bigger grift than that. Like
He doesn't necessarily say that he hates rich people. And by the way, when he says that he specifically disagrees with certain types of production mechanisms, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's fulfilling those production mechanisms himself.
did you not see that one photo where he has like the "Eat the Rich" shirt on, or
Yeah.
are you like,
Yeah. And he pays taxes in California. He pays his fair share.
well, he's the rich, bro? Like I don't know what to
Dude,
tell you.
yeah,
but
and
like,
he pays his fair share. In California, when you make a lot of money, you pay a lot in taxes. Okay? If you are living in LA, I think you pay a fair share. I genuinely do. Now, the issue in terms of LA is going to be, oftentimes the fact that we pay a lot into the federal government that we don't get out. So a lot of the taxes we're paying, we don't actually benefit from here in LA and in California, which we could be benefiting from if we specifically had that federalized in terms of how much we were paying in taxes. So what I'm paying in California, I think I'm paying a fair share. I think I pay enough here in California.
I think that if you live in California and you have enough for a mansion and you have enough for an extravagant lifestyle, multiple cars, and you're claiming that you hate rich people, I think that that's a grift. Like to me, that's like the textbook
I
definition.
think he pays enough in taxes. I think that's totally consistent with his worldview, especially because I'm pretty sure he even runs his thing through a cooperative.
A
Like he runs
cooperative?
his business through a cooperative. Like his business is a cooperative.
So, like,
That's a socialist business. That's like a socialist method of organization.
I mean, but he still, at the end of the day, keeps the profits. He still, at the end of the day, distributes it. I mean,
That's totally in alignment with market socialism.
no, that isn't.
Yes, it
That's
is. Market.
capitalism.
I used to
That's
be a market
capitalism.
socialist, so it's actually cooperatives, democratically run companies, are a form of socialist method of organization of production.
Well,
Okay.
you can have democratically run companies in capitalism. So, I mean,
Yes, and so you can have socialist run businesses in a capitalist structure. The
okay,
reason
but
why
when
it's not
he,
considered socialism is because there's no mandate for there to
okay,
be
but Hassan is
cooperatives
the
in terms of
organizer.
production. What's up?
I said, but Hassan is the organizer. He's the CEO, effectively, of what he does, regardless.
Because they democratically elected him to be the CEO.
That argument just gave me like a migraine. But I mean,
Yeah,
I still see that.
because you don't know what market socialism is.
No, because that's actually so they
This is not a.
democratically quote
This does
unquote
not mean
elected
he's a
him.
grift. You could give so many other better arguments than what you're
Oh,
giving
Hassan
right
Piker
now.
was democratically elected to his own company. Wow, like that. That's how would a
Yeah,
socialist
yeah.
want his own to be the king of his own company, and that's why socialism is
Yeah.
contradictory too.
Do you
Because
think socialism means you can't make money?
I think socialism, means that it's a contradictory system, right? Where you claim that it's not
I
capitalism,
disagree with socialism, but it's not a contradictory
but
system.
he democratically elects himself, and like he is a CEO, but
It's
you're
not
claiming
just
that's
him.
not
There's other employees that democratically
the
elected him.
employees, but it's still a capitalist structure.
Yeah, he's one of the employees. That's not a capitalist structure. Having employees does not mean it's a capitalist structure. You can have
But
employees in a socialist
so they
structure of
democratically
production.
elected him. They democratically elected him. He's the head of the company. He's the CEO. He effectively is the CEO. He is a capitalist.
CEO does not mean you're a capitalist. You don't understand socialist method
He
of
owns the
production.
means of production. He owns the
No,
entire
he
means of
doesn't.
production.
It's
Yes, he
democratically
does.
owned, and that's why they elected him.
He's dem- they elected him to democratically own it, but he still owns the means of production.
Yeah, come on. There's so many actually legitimate critiques of Hassan. This is a dumbass
That is a
critique.
legitimate creed. And that
Also,
is
you know
No,
that
it's
being a
not. This is
CEO and an
stupid.
owner is not necessarily the same thing, right? A CEO is just making decisions. They don't necessarily own all of the company in question.
Jay, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much, Jay. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Gabrielle, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Thank you.
so you're saying that he's not okay. So he's not a grifter, but like once again, back to the whole overall point that you only disagree with the Democrats on one entire thing, and
Rohan, thank you so much. I really appreciate the
I mean, that's just
$31 on Venmo. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Kevin, thank you for the $10 for Grift Harder. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Can you say thank you to everyone for supporting the Grift?
congratulations, everyone. You're brainwashed.
Hold on. Can you also thank Anna for the $5 and Myra for the $5 more for also helping me grift as well?
Uh, yeah. Thank you guys for being brainwashed. Thank you guys for giving your money to shills who
Thank you for
only
supporting
hold.
the brainwashing and the grifting. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it just must be so easy to be left wing when all you.
ASAP, it wouldn't be possible without people like you to come up here and make our points for us by being so extremely unable to articulate anything that makes sense. Thank you
How
so
am I?
much.
How am I? Okay.
Thank
You're
you so
unable
much.
to
We
grift.
couldn't do it without you,
Only
man. I
disagree
really
with
appreciate
one
it. Thank
thing
you.
and to grift.
Thank you so
You only
much for
disagree with
supporting the
one thing
grift.
and
I
to grift.
seriously, ASAP, like I really appreciate it. Like you support the grift. Like if you weren't here, I wouldn't be able to do what I do every single day. I wouldn't be able to debate people. I wouldn't be able to make the money I do. Like Gabrielle, thank you for the $5 for the brainwashing, and Daisy, thank you for the $10 for the grifting. Like they sent me that money because you decided to complain.
I mean, that's cool, but you're still a grifter. You're still brainwashed. You still only
Thank you
disagree
so
with one
much
thing
for
and
supporting the grift. I
it's
seriously,
a grift,
the
and
more that
and
you
it's
call
free
me a grifter,
Palestine.
the more grift money that I get.
You support everything just because other people believe it. I mean, like that's literally what's
Yeah,
going
no,
on right
I
now.
seriously, I don't believe anything that I say on the live. Not a single
You
thing
don't.
do I mean.
I think
Not
you have a lot of emotions.
I
I think
disagree with
you're
every
a very
single thing
emotional.
that I say on the live. I
I think
argue
you're a
every
very
single
emotional
day
person.
for things
I
that I
think you're
don't
very
actually
emotional.
believe. I totally do that. Yes.
I think you're a
Vampire,
very
thank you for the
emotional
$5.
person, and you just can't handle the fact that you download all of your beliefs from other people. I mean, it's just it's really,
Now, yes, I download my beliefs from other people. Yes, I download them because I'm not a real person. I download them into my brain.
look, man. Let me actually tell you something. I was actually
Courtney,
on.
thank you for the $1. Thanks for brainwashing me and grifting. You're
We're not
welcome. I love
unbrainwashed.
brainwashing people on TikTok. It's so fun.
I was a leftist at one point, and then I unbrainwashed myself because like I was like,
You
what am I?
unbrainwash yourself.
Yeah.
Unbrainwashed.
What did you do to
Yeah.
unbrainwash yourself? Can you tell me?
So you
I mean, I
dirtied
just
your
started.
brain?
I mean, I just saw how like depraved all of your arguments were. It was just like it was a wild
Crazy.
experience for me. Like, I mean, I don't know how to say it.
Now
Like,
you follow real heroes like Matt Nuclear, right? He's a real smart one.
You
I
want
mean,
to know
I've
something
heard
crazy?
of
You want to know
it.
something crazy? I want something crazy? Like, genuinely, like if I was grifting, I would still be doing something good. Like I would actually still be benefiting the world, dude. Did you know that? Like that's the crazy thing. I'd still be benefiting the world if I was grifting. That's the crazy part. I can't even believe that. Right? That's nuts, right?
I have no clue what you're saying right now. You sound like you're heavily medicated right now. I don't know.
I am heavily medicated.
Yeah, like, are you good?
Rohan, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $100 on Venmo. Thank you so much, Rohan. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Put some W's for them in the comment section right now. Thank you so much, Rohan. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I have to be heavily medicated to deal with you.
I mean, you read intersectional theory, Marxist queer theory, whatever, and now you're a leftist, man. Like that, you really free thought your way over here. I mean, this is crazy.
I'm not a leftist. I'm literally a liberal, dude.
Okay. I don't see I just a difference without a distinction. To me,
Yeah, so a leftist would be someone who's anti-capitalist. I'm not. I'm a
you're
social
not
democrat.
anti-capitalist,
I'm a liberal. Yeah, I'm not anti-capitalist.
but haven't you like literally agreed
Like
with like
I'm anti-capitalist within certain respects, but I'm not like anti-capitalism as a whole. Does it make sense?
So like certain respects, like what? So do you think?
Like-
So do you think we should tear down capitalism?
Like I believe in safety nets and social and like regulations and stuff.
Well, that's not capitalism. That's actually pro.
That
Actually,
is,
no,
that-
no, no.
That
no.
is
It is.
capitalism.
That's actually my
Hold
position
on,
on
define
that.
capitalism.
Oh, so then
capitalism
Trump isn't a capitalist because he believes in some level of social safety nets.
I mean, it's a spectrum, but like it depends on like how like how much freedom you want to allot to like private landowners. But yeah,
Yeah, so then again, Trump is not a capitalist.
he's not a full capitalist, but he's definitely a capitalist.
So okay, so I'm not a full capitalist. I'm a capitalist though.
You're far left.
I'm not
Radical
far
left
left,
thug
dude.
and lunatic.
Like genuinely, like I'm not like a far left person, right? Like
think
I
once you're
like
on the left, you have
if
to
you
be
think
like
that
far
I'm
left.
far left, then far left is good as fuck, dude. Right? Like genuinely, like if you think I'm far left, that's crazy to me. Because genuinely, like I'm kind of like a moderate on the world stage, right? Like I'm kind of like a moderate when it comes to economic systems, comparative to socialists. Like I'm still a liberal. Like I'm still technically like leftists would consider me right wing, unironically.
Probably like someone who's like Stalin, but
Yeah,
sure.
like
But like
not all
what-
leftists, but a lot of leftists consider me right wing just because I'm a liberal. Tattoo, thank you so
I
much
mean,
for the $5. Thank you. So it's
when
crazy
you think-
that conservatives view me as the most left possible, and then leftists view me as conservative. Like that's the crazy part.
Well, I think that just shows how crazy. I mean, that just shows how crazy the left is that you're seen as like somebody who's
So
far
I'm
right.
not
Like,
the
that is-
left then. You just described that I'm not the left because I don't view that.
I think that shows how schizophrenic the left is. If somebody
Don't
considers
use that.
you,
Don't say that.
okay, then how crazy the left is because they think that somebody of your caliber is like
Like obviously I'm not a right winger, but like from the world stage in terms of economic views, I'm technically a moderate because I'm like a social democrat. Like I'm
social That's pretty. That's pretty left. I'm not gonna lie
like
to you.
it's
Social Demo-
left for the United States, sure, but like it's
like
not
you're
like
not even like
leftist.
not even like liberal like what's the one that's
Like,
next to
social
like,
democrats are liberals.
social democrats are not liberals.
Yes, they are. You're thinking
then, like,
democratic
okay.
socialists. You're thinking democratic socialists. There's a distinction
I mean,
between
yeah.
social democrats and democratic socialism.
Social democrats are basically like Democrats who think that like socialism can be achieved democratically or whatever, right?
No. Those are democratic socialists. Now, historically, social democrat did mean that, but the meaning has changed over time. Social democrats are literally just like further, like more liberals, like very liberal.
Okay, like give an example of like someone in U.S. policies, right?
Like I mean, me.
You, but like, would you say like AOC, like, or is that like
I
we're
mean,
talking about like?
AOC might define herself as a democratic socialist. Like I think AOC and Bernie technically define themselves as democratic socialists, but I think that they like are advocating for social democratic policies.
So like
so
social
social
safety net.
democrats and democratic socialists will advocate for the same policies in the short run. So that's why they're in a coalition, right? We advocate for the same things essentially. Like in policy because they're advocating for our policy, but we think that this is the end goal, whereas they don't think that's the end goal.
Okay, but give me like examples of your policy because I'm actually like really
Yeah, like
interested to
universal health care, like Medicare for
universal.
all.
Like, do you
Like
believe in like a
healthcare is a human right. Like I believe in universal child care access,
you
free
believe
public
healthcare is a human right?
universities.
You believe in free public universities?
Yeah, like not every single university is free. I'm not saying private universities are free. I'm just saying there's a free public alternative.
So you think that people should? So you think that we should subsidize college universities?
Yeah.
Okay. So you believe healthcare is a human right? You should subsidize college university. Anything else?
I mean, I can keep going. Those are just a few like typical things.
I mean, just give three. I like three. I would say.
You want me to give you more?
Yeah, just one more. Just one more.
Paid
So I can like
vacation leave?
understand. Paid vacation leave.
Yeah, and paid maternity leave and paternity
Okay.
leave.
I mean that seems to me that seems very very far left, like extremely far left to me.
What?
So you believe that healthcare is a human right, so we should have single payer, like no private option, right? You believe that we should.
I'm okay with the private option as so long as that the public option is good. But I wouldn't
I
mind
mean,
a single payer either. Like if we can get a single payer passed, I would be okay with that.
I just think that like all forms of like subsidized welfare are just inherently not good ideas, right? Like
You
we
understand that
should,
single payer is the most efficient way to run health insurance, right?
okay,
Like
then
economically speaking.
that's weird because people come all across the world over here for their treatment. So if it was the most efficient, then why do they come all across the world over here for their treatment? That makes
Because
sense.
we have high quality of care, not high
Yeah, it's
coverage.
high
I
quality
mean,
because it's
there's actually a
more
lot of
efficient.
Americans
Right?
that go to Canada for cheaper medication and cheaper
True, for
healthcare.
insulin and stuff, yeah.
Do they go for their medically assisted stuff like their that you know what I'm talking
Yes,
about?
they literally go because it's cheaper there.
It's
And
cheaper in
it's
Canada. It's probably cheaper and it's probably worse healthcare.
no, I know people in my life that have gone to other countries for healthcare. I mean,
I
for
mean,
example,
but
all of the people who go to Turkey to get their hair their what is it called
Transplant?
again? Hair transplant.
yeah, it's because they have specialists there though. That doesn't negate my point though. That literally strengthens
No,
my
that's
point.
why people come to America. We have some of the best specialists here. Exactly.
Yeah.
But our actual coverage is dog shit.
We have the best specialists because we have the best innovation, right? And that doesn't happen when you have
Why
a
does single payer prevent innovation? You can have high reimbursements with single payer as well. What is the actual connection to that?
well, it prevents innovation because it stifles the market, it stifles competition like crazy, right?
Hold on, you don't want competition in health insurance. You want consolidated risk pools that lowers costs. Why would you want competition in health insurance?
You want competition so companies aren't
I
forced
mean,
to.
competition could help. It's just that competition doesn't create good conditions in the context of this market because of the set of circumstances. So there's an issue of not being like if we were to assume that there's perfect competition, that's true, yes. But there aren't conditions that create competition in the context of healthcare, right? Or create an incentive for that. And oftentimes they create an incentive for collusion, right? For profits
Collusion?
because of the fact that the demand curve is so fucked in healthcare because people need healthcare. Like it's not a choice. So it's inelastic in nature, meaning that like if there's a huge percentage change in the price, there's not going to be as much of a change in the percentage of demand.
I mean, but do you not realize that like one of the main problems with our system right now is the lack of competition?
No.
I mean,
Really?
if you increase competition, that could better the set of circumstances, but it wouldn't fix the set of circumstances because ultimately there still would be an environment for greed and profit, which they're trying to get. So if they can get
Okay.
away with increasing their prices, they will, and all the other people in the market will as well. That's why
there-
like
but
even
there's
Trump supports like
market.
a $35 cap on insulin. Like he specifically supported that because the markets break down in these circumstances. There isn't good circumstances for competition. There isn't good circumstances for pricing to come down. There isn't good circumstances to increase innovation.
Or you can remove patents. You can open up the market. You can make sure that there's more companies producing insulin, so there's not just the same.
ASAP, do you know what a risk pool is in health
risk
insurance?
pool. Elaborate.
I'm asking, do you know what a risk pool is?
No, I don't.
That's one of the reasons that actually counterintuitively competition isn't necessarily a good thing in health insurance. A risk pool is, for example, like the people that are cost sharing on the insurance. And the broader the risk pool is, the more people that are covered by the risk pool, the lower the actual average cost of care is, which is why you see countries that have a single payer system have the cheapest care, because everyone healthy in the country is in the same risk pool as everyone unhealthy and poor. When you have rich healthy people and unhealthy poor people all in the same risk pool, the average cost is lower. That was the entire point of the individual mandate under the ACA.
Wait, so you're saying that
If you splinter off more risk pools, it can work. Like a public option does still work, but ideally, I think I'm pretty left on healthcare. You want to have a consolidated risk pool where there is actually not this splintering off of risk, where it's like disproportionately higher prices for some people.
I mean, but for you to say that the prices are lower in those companies because they have a lower risk pool, I mean, I feel like that's just the most
No,
like.
no, no. Having a consolidated risk pool means that all the different risk factors are in one place. You don't have one health insurance plan that's only covering sick, unhealthy people, and then one that's like super cheap because its entire risk pool is like young, healthy people with a lot of money. You want to actually have a diverse, broad risk pool to lower those costs.
Okay, so you would support a more free market that would have a more diverse product.
No, I would support a single payer system.
A single payer, but wouldn't a single payer system like reduce that risk pool?
No, it would consolidate the risk pool into one, which is what I'm saying.
But that's less. But you just said you want to.
Do you know what consolidate means?
Consolidate means turn it into one.
Thank you. So when I say we should consolidate the risk pool, you think I'm asking for more risk pools?
You said you wanted a more broad risk pool, and then now you're saying you want to consolidate.
Yes, a more broad risk pool that encompasses everyone, which would be a consolidated risk pool.
But it would be under one specific like.
I don't even know why we're debating this if you don't even know what a risk pool is. I mean, what is your actual reason for opposing universal health insurance? What is the actual reason? Because someone once came to America for a treatment this one time?
No, because I just think the system is more inefficient. You wait like a long time for healthcare. I just think it's nonsensical to have a system
That's
where
not necessary for like. That's not necessarily true in a single payer public option system.
It wouldn't work here because we have so many like different diverse groups. Like it's the same. We already see the strain on
having different diverse groups does not mean it would work. It would not work here. What?
Because it puts strain
How
on
does
the
having
system.
different diverse groups limit how good health insurance operates?
Because when you're importing tons of illegals and tons of immigrants,
Undocumented
right?
immigrants. Oh my God.
It puts a strain on the system, right? It objectively does.
No, it doesn't.
It
No, it
objectively
doesn't.
does. It objectively
They
does.
also
Bring
don't
people into
qualify
the
for any subsidized health insurance.
Exactly.
do.
So, no, they don't.
Well, actually, for immigrants
health
or
insurance.
which ones?
Undocumented immigrants do not qualify for federal health insurance.
Well, they do if they get injured or something like that.
So if you're talking about like in emergency circumstances,
But I'm talking about
do you
in
think
this
they should
instance, I'm talking
die?
about
Like,
legal.
for example, if someone's dying, should you be like, "Yo, are you in the country legally?"
I think you should probably patch them up and then send them home.
Before you save their life, should you clarify if they're in the country legally?
Yeah, I think you should check that because like what?
That's not even the current law. You have to give stabilizing care to everyone.
I'm kicking him off. That's so ridiculous. I'm sorry. It is so absurd to say that you're going to check if someone is whether or not they're a citizen prior to saving their life. That's actually fucking nuts. Like literally say that to any person who works in the emergency room, say that to any fucking doctor, any nurse.
Yeah.
Literally say that to anyone in the medical field and they will fucking think you're insane because you are. You're actually insane.
A lot of these people want undocumented immigrants and asylum seekers to like bleed out in the waiting room. Like unironically,
They seriously want them not to be taken care of. Seriously. Unbelievable. There's literally not a I can't even fathom a doctor or a nurse ever being like, yeah, I'm going to clarify their immigration status before
Yeah, do you have your birth
saving their
certificate on you?
life. Yeah, they're literally dying on a bed and they're going to clarify if they're in the country documented or not. Like that's fucking nuts.